Want to go deeper with Lobbing Scorchers? You know, scratch under the surface, get down even dirtier than we already get? Become a YouTube member. Sometimes things just get a little too spicy, a little too weird, and a little too loose for the general public. And you know, the people to see that are YouTube members. We're talking about exclusive bonus videos, the podcast after show, exclusive written content, and little bits and pieces of information before the unwashed masses know about it. As a member, you not only get access to all of this amazing content, you get a badge next to your name and a slew of amazing emotes to use, not only in our live stream chat, but also in our comment section. And yes, we do have an emote for Jesus Ferreira, Go Snack, and Paul Rothrock. This is the best way to help keep us independent and keep us building out this crazy YouTube brand that we call Lobbing Scorchers. Hit the join button down below or hit the link in the top of our description if you're on mobile to join the ranks and become a Lobbing Scorchers YouTube member.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome into your post-match live for Matchday 30. Running this one solo. Noah couldn't make it to the game this evening, so I'm running the tech, and you guys know what that means. It always goes flawlessly. But let me know if there's any tech issues, any audio issues. I think I got this set up all how it's supposed to be. So let's talk about the Seattle Sounders. They just beat the brakes off Sporting KC, club of professional wrestling enthusiasts, 5-2 at Lumen Field. We're going to be breaking down the dub. I'll take some calls later. Going to try and fire up this press conference here in just a minute. Let me check on the status of that.
Athlete in MLS over the first 10, 12 yards. He's got that explosive, fitness. So credit to the kid, good performance tonight. The start, I know he's been asking for more minutes, and those types of performances make my job a little harder.
Congrats on the win, Brian. Obviously, you get the 5 goals after a couple of frustrating games.
Yeah, I got that.
And talk about kind of the pace and intentionality of this game. That was something you talked about during the Puebla game.
We try that every game. We try that every game. Every game is the same. And the two teams that, bunkered in against us prevented us from doing that. We have an identity. We know what we want to do. We know how we want to play. It's just sometimes it doesn't always happen. And in this particular game, because the way Kansas City set up and the way that, the game played out with the timeliness again of the goals, we came out on top.
Other questions? Yep, go over here.
Hi, Coach. Lionel, the Quad Podcast from Venezuela. I'm curious about you started 5 players under 23. What's the message for them? You take them apart and talk to them, or is a group message that you give?
For the young players?
Yeah, 5 under 23.
Well, it's some individual. Obviously, it's in a collective as well, to get a little more clarity, because you might be new here. When we train the entire team, we don't just train the starting 11 for a particular game. We always start with the second group first and then the first team, and we make sure that everyone on the team understands the tactics for that particular game. And so the young players understand when they're put into the game what we want, what the expectations are. And I think it helps, and it shows when you put a bunch of young kids. Now, what I would tell you is our team as of late, and I mean, maybe not the team, the organization as of late, has done a good job of developing young players. We picked Danny Leyva up when he was 15. Obed was 15. Snyder Burnell has been in our academy. Those are 3 really good midfielders that we have on our team, and that's credit to the organization. And, people make a big deal about signing, not signing. Well, Snyder Burnell is going to be a star in this league. Osaze has good starting points. I mean, the kid maybe should have scored, but, he's a handful. And we're going to need to lean on him in the next game on Wednesday, but he's ready. And that's credit to the organization and the coaching staff.
All right, we'll swing back down here. Jeremiah, I saw you first, then we'll go to Maz.
You kind of alluded to this earlier when you were talking about how you guys were struggling to score last year. This year has not been the case, but the games have also just been more wide open, which seems to go a little bit against your type, your normal way of playing. You know, we asked Craig about that earlier today, and he was saying how sometimes he's a little uncomfortable with how open games can be, but it's fun. How has it been this year for you, just sort of allowing the games to be a little bit more open and high scoring?
I've never been an anchor to guys scoring goals. We've always tried to coach attacking soccer. We re-emphasize certain things. We tweaked a couple of things, but we've always done a good job with what we have to try and score goals. I don't think that's ever been, you know, I know people label me as a defensive-minded coach, but that's not by design. Yes, I expect everyone to defend, and maybe that's the message you guys hear and think I'm a defensive coach, but defending starts up top. Okay, it's a team game. It's not, you know, it's not two guys up here and four guys back here and a couple guys sprinkled in the middle. The expectations are there because that's how you win championships. Because you win championships by, again, defending well, keeping clean sheets, but then you also need the team to believe they can score. You need individuals like Masowski to believe that he can score because he's having a banner year. And just guess what's going to happen? Performances like that are going to push Albert and Jordan and Kent and Pedro when he comes back on the field and Rothrock. It's going to push the whole group. When you get guys like that playing at that level, the whole group is going to, you know, rise up, and that's going to happen.
Maz.
Going back to your coaching staff, can you just talk about their ability to not only create a system, but create a specific system for the players to thrive, given their individual talents?
Well, that's the coach's job, Maz, is to put players in the positions so they can best succeed. It's giving them confidence. It's giving them tactical instruction. It's giving them reality checks. You know, the mentality of this group is very strong. You know, tough times don't last, tough people do. You know, that kind of messaging has always been there. And so I think as a collective, the coaching staff, the players, they buy into it. You know, it's going to give us success more often than not.
Kalani, you started him a little further up the formation than we're used to seeing on the right side. What do you think of his performance, and will we be seeing him further up that formation more in the future?
Maybe, because the kid makes plays. But wherever he starts on the field, he's got a nose for the goal. He can play in the pocket. He had a strong performance. That first goal, you know, again, from a tactical perspective, from the build-up perspective, you know, from a tactical perspective, from an actual application of the technical things, that was a great goal.
Miss anybody? Great. Thanks all. Locker rooms.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. That was Schmetz. Post game. Hopefully you guys could hear that all right. I didn't see anything in the chat to suggest that suggest otherwise. Sorry that you had like the whole Zoom format. I didn't know how to change that. The tech is a work in progress, folks. We're gonna figure it out. But let's talk about this win, and then I will drop that call link in the chat. Let me just get this out of here. Okay. Where do you guys want to start with this one? I mean, I guess first of all, it always feels good to beat the club of professional wrestling enthusiasts. You obviously never know what's going to happen in these matchups, whether it's the full Nelson, whether it's, you know, the Stone Cold Steve Austin Stunner. You just don't know. So to come out on top, hang 5 goals on them, sweep the season series versus Sporting KC for the first time since 2011, I believe is the stat, which is kind of a crazy stat. That's all good. And it was also, you know, a necessary bounce back, I would say, after getting shut out 2 games in a row, after scoring 26 goals in 8 games. They hang 5 goals on Sporting KC with, let's talk about the lineup. That's where I wanted to start. Let's talk about the lineup because this was the lineup that I've kind of been waiting for as far as actually employing a lot of squad rotation and, throwing a different look out there, giving guys a chance, such as KKR, the winger. He gets the first goal of this game. Kicked it really hard, but also running Danny Leyva out there at the 10. RBW getting some run out there. Georgie getting minutes. This is the kind of rotated lineup that I've been wanting to see. And how could I forget Snyder B? Snyder B, guys. Snyder B. What a game. And you heard Schmetz at the presser there. Yeah, Cody Baker. Sorry, that's the one I was forgetting. You heard Schmetz say at the presser there, Snyder B is going to be a star in this league. It's kind of looking like it. It's only been a couple games, but that's his second goal. And just, I mean, is he more advanced than Obed was at the same age? I don't know. They bring different things to the table, but it's certainly a debate. He's already banging in goals, and it's not just the goals. It's just how he's just slotted right in, and he's so good in possession. He's got some of that Obed-like ability to wiggle out of pressure. Nothing seems to get to him. We got to see more Snyder B without a doubt, because should there be an Obed Vargas transfer at some juncture, which that is the expectation, Snyder B is next up, and I got to say, he looks incredible. He was a big reason why this team scored 5 goals. He scored one of them himself, but also just his work in that midfield. Great stuff. Moose obviously gets the hat trick. Is Moose going to get 20 goals this year? The drive for 20 is on. It was a necessary bounce back for the whole attack, but also for Moose in particular after his last game famously did not come to a very ceremonious end. He gets the red card in Leagues Cup versus Puebla, which is going to keep him out of the semifinals against the LA Galaxy on Wednesday. So it's going to be the Osaze show. Osaze, he racked a lot of XG tonight. Couldn't quite finish, but I still like to see him getting in those spots, and they're going to need him to step up in Leagues Cup. But great to see Moose get a couple. He gets one off a Danny Leyva free kick, which go down the list. Danny Leyva, I think, had the best game of his career tonight, and this was the first time we've ever seen him start in that more advanced role, that number 10 spot. He gets 2 assists. He might have got 3 assists. But either way, I loved the way he ran the offense. The team in transition looked very good tonight, I thought. And that was a lot of credit to Danny Leyva. I think that's his position. I think that's got to be his position. I'm going to hit some super chats here, and then I'll drop the call link in, have you guys hop on, lay down some takes with me. Zippy starting it off with the $2. Thank you, Zippy. Every game is the same. Spicy Schmetz still out. Yeah, when Schmetz is in tournament mode, he gets spicy even after wins. Alex, thank you for the 5. Appreciate you, man. Seeing Leyva get 90 at center attacking mid, 1 assist and 2 secondary assists. Okay, so he did have 3. Was very rewarding. Schmetzer forever. Totally agree. I mean, I was just talking about it, but this is the type of game where you got to do stuff like that. You got Leagues Cup on Wednesday. Rusnak's hurt. Got to save Ferreira. You save your Ferreira capital a little bit. Let Danny Leyva cook. And cook he did. I really think there might be something to this Danny Leyva as the number 10 thing. It's looking real good. Zippy once again coming in with another tooth. Thank you, Zippy. Support this new era of absolutely dreadful SKC. Yeah, I mean, people are going to say that this doesn't count because it was Sporting KC, the club of professional wrestling enthusiasts. They are one of the worst teams in the league this year. And I think you kind of saw why as far as their defensive performance. They did score a couple goals. But yeah, that's the thing. The thing is, like, this result to me didn't feel like a given considering the fixture congestion that's going on right now in the lineup they had to put out there, which it ended up working out phenomenally. But it's never a given when you have to rotate that much in Major League Soccer, no matter who the opponent is, that you're going to be able to go out there and get a result. And really, like, I think just psychologically, morale-wise, like, guys, like Orlando City was doing the same thing in their game this week, rotating before the semifinals, and they got absolutely boat raced by Nashville SC, I believe. So that's the type of thing that can happen sometimes when you're rotating, when you're juggling a tournament. So it was good to see Seattle, even though they had a bad team, take care of business. They were professional about it. The rotated lineup looked good. The offense was great. 5 goals. So this is a big win. This was a necessary win. If they had lost this game, all of a sudden you're standing for a top 4 spot in the West and home field advantage in the playoffs gets severely compromised if you lose this game. Even if you draw this game, LAFC has 2 games in hand on you. So you had to win this game while also rotating for Leagues Cup. So credit to the team, credit to the rotated lineup for, like I said, professional performance, taking care of business, hanging 5 goals on an inferior opponent. That's what you're supposed to do. That's how it's done. Andrew coming in with another 5, made a bet that if Moose ever got a hat trick, I would buy a jersey with his name on the back. There you go. You got that. You should have got the one that Noah got, the Las Vegas Lights one. That one is sick. I bought too many jerseys this year, LOL. I mean, that's going to be a good one. That's going to be a good one for the collection. Happy for Moose. He took a lot of heat after that red card, deservedly. But for him to bounce back with the Hattie, I mean, we were just kind of laughing in the press box. Like, this is the season he's having is just so kind of. If I'd told you guys before the season that on August 24th, Danny Musovski would have 14 goals, all comps, would you have believed that? I don't know. All right, I'm dropping the call link in right now, folks. Let's take some calls. Let's get you, the people, on here. There it is. I'll just keep cooking here while we wait for people to tap in, but any and all are welcome. Come bask in another 5 goals for the Seattle Sounders. A big win over Sporting Kansas City. The club of professional wrestling enthusiasts. How do I pin it? How do I pin it? That is the question. See, this is why we need Noah here. He's the one who pins it. I literally, I've watched him do it. I don't know how to pin it. I'll keep posting. I'll keep posting the link. We got our first caller, Kenny, in the lobby. He can hear me. I'm going to bring him to the stage right now. Kenny, what's up, man? Can you hear me?
What's up, Ari? I got you.
Yeah, I got you as well.
Cool.
How are you feeling, man? 5-2 over Sporting KC. Danny Leyva, 3 assists, 10. Musovski, Hattie, KKR goal. What am I? Snyder B goal. What's up, man? How are you doing?
Snyder Brunel, the instincts on that kid, the driving runs into the box, and then he points ahead of him like he's going to continue his run, and then he leans back to the penalty spot. And
I didn't catch that. That's a good catch.
Yeah,
that's some veteran savvy.
Yeah. He did not look like a rookie. I was saying in the chat, in the Lobbing Scorchers lobby, I was saying he doesn't look like a rookie, man. And
Not at all.
Cody Baker, unfortunately, has not developed very much to his game. I love the kid and I love his effort, but he was pretty. I mean, quiet's not the worst thing from a 22-year-old backup, swing fullback, swing back, you want to call it.
I don't think he's even that old. Is he 22?
He might be 21, 20, somewhere in there. He's not that old.
21.
21. Okay, sorry. Even outside of the own goal, he was kind of not contributing too much out there. Yamar, insane first half, almost 10 recoveries in one half. Ridiculous. Like 5 clearances, last man tackle. Jackson Reagan looks, ready for a championship run. Jackson Reagan came in really strong and making slide tackles in the box.
It was nice how they rotated that. I thought, you give Yamar the first half, Jackson Reagan the second half. You get them their minutes, keep them in rhythm, but also don't have to play them a full 90 before this Leagues Cup game. So, what did you just think of the lineup rotation overall? Were you stoked when you saw it, or were you sketched out?
I was hoping for a little more rotation, actually. Even sit Christian as well, who had pretty out of character half for him. I mean, what did he play, like an hour?
He only played the first half. Alex came in at half.
He did get switched for Alex at half. Yeah, he wasn't great in the first half. Probably just legs, and he knew he was getting subbed. He knew it was a 45-minute performance. Yeah, I wanted a lot of rotation.
8 changes. That's like, obviously, Christian is a guy that we've talked about who we want to see get a little more rest. But if you make 8 changes and then Christian only goes 45, I can live with that. He clearly is saying that he can play all these minutes, which obviously that is what he's going to say. You do have to save players from themselves sometimes. But I thought that this is how I wanted, more or less is how I wanted Schmetz to handle the lineup. So I appreciated that, because we've been asking for this and not really getting it. So the fact that he gave it to us, and they got 5 goals from the offense. So
yeah, goal fest. Moose is freaking rabid right now. Someone called him Musafer.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's pretty good. And Georgie, is he unlocking his next level? The final ball has been pretty dang lethal from him the last couple of outings.
I thought this game was kind of both aspects of the Georgie experience. There was still that kind of that rawness to it, the decision making, maybe not always quite there. But he does get an assist in this game. That's 3 for the season. And I agree, like, we're starting to see him take those steps that we want him to see. But it's always fun and exciting with him.
He had the service on Snyder B's second career goal as well. It's not going to count, but he did have a decent service. And there were other moments where he was picking his head up. And you catch on his assist, it was a no-looker. He looked off Snyder Brunel, and he dinked it back to him. No, pretty. That's not a joke about his eye either, man. I'm always worried about our backup fullbacks because they're so young and kind of not small, but they're, especially Reed. He hasn't filled out his frame, and I think he just went through a growth spurt. So I think he's still feeling out his body or something. I thought he was involved on both of the goals we allowed. Neither fullback covered themselves in glory in either of those sequences.
Yeah, the first one, if we're doing blame pie for the first one, I think RBW and Yamar share it. And I think it's just I just think the situation with RBW right now is that he's very, like you saw, he got an assist, a very good assist on Moose's was that his second goal or his first goal? I think that was his first one actually, to make it 2-1. You get, like, that's the type of stuff that RBW brings to the table. It's just, the defensive side of his game is what he needs to work on.
He was a cam.
Develop.
He was a cam, right? He came up as a attacking mid.
I can't remember if he was like a D mid or an attacking mid, but he definitely hasn't always been. He was, I think, an attacking player before they switched him to fullback. I just think this is the reality of giving young players their opportunities sometimes. And I know that, like, RBW, there's been a few of these this year, but that is part of, like, the developmental process. And if you don't give players opportunities like that, sometimes they're going to make mistakes, but then you're not going to develop them. So I can live with a mistake where, you end up winning the game 5-2, and hope that, like, that's what we need to see him develop. But overall,
and to be fair to him, he's played 5 positions this year, 5 full different positions this year.
RBW.
Yeah, 3 or 4 maybe.
He's played both fullback spots. And then
both
in
wings.
midfield.
Both wings.
You're right. Yeah. You're right.
So fair play to him. He's got the trust of the coaching staff, which is something I've got to come down on Cody Baker for, because a few months ago, when Cody Baker hadn't played for months, I think Nico asked about him getting some minutes in a rotated lineup. He said, Brian Schmetzer says, I know what I have in Cody Baker, and then continue to not play him for months again.
I was glad to see him get some run tonight because
I love his hustle.
Yeah, he looked pretty good last year and hadn't really been getting run this year. So I wasn't really expecting him to be in this lineup, but I was happy that he was. I think what you said earlier was pretty accurate in that I didn't really notice him that much, but in a good way, like,
it wasn't bad.
I don't necessarily need him to be out there playmaking. It's a game where you just need him to be solid on defense, which, there was the own goal. That was unfortunate, a little unlucky. But other than that, I don't think there was anything glaring to me, at least on the defensive side of the ball. So
I think he was our second lowest rated player, according to FOTMob. And I think that's only he was our lowest rated player, but that's only because of the own goal. I think the second lowest rated was John Bell, who also I thought he was at fault partially. If you want to do blame pie, I think for the second goal, that's maybe 15% Reed, maybe 45% Cody, and then whatever's left. I'm bad at math.
I'll have to rewatch that one.
John Bell.
And then assess my
for John Bell,
my blame pie. Well, we don't have anyone else in the queue yet, Kenny. So if you want to keep cooking, go right ahead. Should be pinned in chat if anyone wants to tap in.
Danny Dimes masterclass. Danny Dimes. I love Danny Leyva. I feel he's missing that one extra step, to really excel at this level against the top teams in this league, and to be an everyday starter for us. I think, like, if Danny Leyva had Josh Atencio's physical traits, he'd be an all-star in this league. That's an all-star profile in this league.
I still want to. I want to see them run him at this this more advanced
with
number
the
10 type of role, because
with the ones
he looked just. That was the best game of his career. That was literally the best game of his career. So I don't think that's a coincidence. I know 2 of them were secondary assists, so people are going to say it doesn't count. But, like, I think it speaks to just how he was running the offense that he picked up 2 of those. And then that corner kick delivery on the Moose goal.
Was that left-footed? Was it left?
No, but it was pinpoint delivery.
I thought it was left-footed delivery. That was it was making me very excited.
I mean, he's probably the best set piece taker on the team right now. Rusnak was nails on them last year, but the team hasn't been scoring goals off set pieces this year, and they have 2 in the last couple weeks from Danny Leyva. He had the one that went off the post against Cruz Azul that set up the Nuhu goal, right?
Yeah.
And then this one was just like a absolutely perfect corner kick. You cannot hit it better than that.
Yeah. Who else looked good? Who looked great? Snyder Brunel, man.
I'm down to keep talking about Snyder B. I think that's one of the most exciting things with the team right now.
We got us another one, Ari.
Got another one.
The fucking midfielder FC, bro.
Oh yeah, 6 and 8 FC. Like you need a team to develop you with 6 or an 8. This is the squad right here. I mean, it's kind of, in all seriousness, it's pretty unbelievable. Like I don't know. Obed was obviously incredible at this same age, but he wasn't banging in goals like this. Like this is kind of like the fact that he's already scoring goals. He's played 2 games. He's got 2 goals.
Yeah, and like I was saying, it's not like an accident. This one was a little bit more oh, what am I thinking? I'm thinking of the other goal. No, that was a great finish to me. The chesting it down, picking it out the air, and freaking lasering it into the fucking, and it's the instinct on that one too. You know, I'm thinking of Costa Rienzi. The Costa Rienzi goal where he lasers it in.
Yeah.
The athleticism, the balance, the gymnastics of it. Love that goal.
We haven't talked a lot of KKR yet, but that's another takeaway, how good he looked on the wing. All right, we had a couple people tap into the queue, but Kenny, thank you for leading us off here. Any last takes or anything you wanted to cook on?
Yeah, I'll finish on Snyder Brunel. I thought his goals weren't coincidental. This one was a little scrappier. It kind of went under the leg of Pulskamp, who fucking sucked tonight. Yeah, body slam that hoe. Body slam that one.
He wasn't the one who body slammed, but like it's guilty by association. It's guilty by
body slam that whole club.
All right, thank you, Kenny. That was a good exit. Appreciate you leading us off there. We got Tribe up next. Tribe, give me that thumbs up. I'll bring you on the screen here. Tribe, what is up, man? 5-2 over Sporting KC. Big win, bounce back result. How are you feeling? What'd you think of the rotated squad's performance tonight?
I'm feeling happy about the win, but I'm a little bit worried how we can't quite track back how we should and giving away 2 goals that should have been pretty well defended. And knowing that LA have an absolutely insane attack as of late, scoring 3 on Colorado and just absolutely cooking in the Leagues Cup, I'm a little bit worried for Wednesday, if that makes sense. I know it's a rotated squad, but I am just seeing what Yamar did for the first goal, that went in, and it's just a bit. I'm very happy with our attack, though.
If there was like if we're doing positive and negatives, if there was a negative tonight, I think it would be the defense, and especially if you can score 5 goals, I don't really care if you concede 2. But to me, it was like the timing of it. The first one was when they were up 1-0 and they let it get to 1-1, and then the second one, and it was like pretty close after, and then the second one they conceded, they were up 3-1, and it's like, this is a game you should be dusting, and you're letting them stick around, which God knows we've seen enough dropped points in those scenarios this season. So I definitely that's something that in these last couple Leagues Cup games, those are the type of things that can cost you. So that was they ended up scoring 5, so it didn't end up mattering in this game. But I feel what you're saying as far as like, I mean, if you do that on Wednesday,
it's not going to go well.
It's not really well.
No,
Yeah.
But I'm very happy with Brunel. I am absolutely ecstatic with him. Every single time anyone puts pressure on him, he goes through 2 players like Obed Vargas effortlessly and just passes it off well. I feel like he's only had two appearances in MLS, and he's arguably the best midfielder that we had this game. Manugu was cooking as well. I mean,
I was going to ask you, you got your Georgie start. What'd you think?
I am so pleased. I couldn't be happier, man. I mean, he was unplayable. He also knows how to do. He just plays it simple when he needs to as well. He has that intelligence to just play it simple instead of just go all out on the wing. But when he does go all out on the wing, he only gave it away once, I think, trying to dribble through, and that wasn't even that bad because he got past 2 players before that. He's just, my
He's a
God,
lot of
man.
fun. He is a lot of fun.
He's special. I love him, man. He needs to start, I think, against LA. I really feel like if he does start, he's gonna be a lot to handle, especially for someone like Aoud on the back for LA. There's no way. There's just no shot.
Yeah, I don't think they are going to start him.
Yeah.
Because he started this game, but he should get some run in that game for sure. They're going to start Rothrock, but he should get some run in that game. And I think it's just you kind of know what you're going to get at this point in terms of like he's going to make stuff happen. He's going to get past defenders. He's going to get some dangerous crosses in. And it was good to see him get an assist tonight. And I think he's still developing that final product. But man, like if he levels up that just aspect of his game, like watch out, because the physical gifts are, I mean, you're right, they're pretty undeniable. So
I feel like Schneider Brunel might actually need to start. He's also just, he really reminds me of Ovid Vargas now that we're seeing that start. It's so impressive. And he's almost as quality as Ovid Vargas as well. I feel like him as a 10 would work unbelievably well instead of Jesus Ferreira. I feel like he would do better than Ferreira personally as a 10 because of how calm and composed he is. Just simply gliding past players is just, it's just great to watch. And he's only 18 as well, so he needs as much game time as he can get. He has so much potential, and I think he'll be sold somewhere in Europe. I mean, for another astonishing amount, just like Obed Vargas might be.
That's going to be another one to track. Schmetz said after the game that Snyder's going to be a star in MLS, which
easily.
That's the first. Yeah, that's the first step. But I mean, really, like the early returns from that I don't think they could be going much better. And it's really not just the goals. The goals are like kind of the cherry on top to how impressive it is. But I mean, yeah, you laid it out there, just how cool he is under pressure, just his link up play, like how smooth he is. Just it's great stuff. It's very impressive. Like for an 18-year-old coming in his first couple MLS games, like I don't think it could be going much better. Tribe, anything else from this game? I got one person in the queue behind you, but you can cook a couple more here. What do you got?
One more thing before I go. I just wanted to say Kalani Kosarienzi needs a bit more game time again. He can attack, he can defend, he's physical, he's fast, he can dribble, he can do everything. That's my last agenda I want to put out there. Kalani Kosarienzi needs more game time.
That one skyrocketed once again this week. Yeah. I mean, the guy, he gets on the stat sheet. He has 6 goal contributions this year, 3 goals, 3 assists. Like it's every amazing. Time he's out there, something good happens. So it was good to see him keep building on that, score another banger. Absolutely good agenda. Tribe, thank you for tapping in, man. Great call as always. We'll see you on the next one.
Hey, all right. I'll see you. Cheers.
Take care. All right, we got Pooz up next. I believe that's okay. He can hear me. He's giving me the thumbs up, bringing him to the stage. Pooz, did I get that pronunciation?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Well, thanks for tapping in. This is your first call. I don't know if I've.
Yeah, I felt compelled.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you tapping in. He's the last one in the queue right now, so if anyone else wants to hop in, link should be pinned. Let me know if it's not, but I'll be hanging out here for a bit if anyone else wants to hop in here. Pooz, 5-2 over Sporting KC. Moose hat trick. Danny Leyva at the 10. Snyder Beagle. What did you like? What did you think of this performance?
Yeah, I was more sour during the first half, particularly when the game goes to 3-2, right? Where you're like, why are we inviting them into this game again? Why are we giving them this space? I bear in mind that it's a game that we're rotating a lot of players, right? These are kids that need minutes, right? As much as we're talking about like they deserve more minutes, like this is how they get them. They play in games like these and they're going to make mistakes. Schmetz says a lot of the times that like he doesn't have a controller to control the players, and that they have to learn these things on the field and they have to get seasoned. I think of like Osaze, the spaces that he finds himself in and the chances that he gives himself, he still has to learn how to put them away.
Yeah.
Or like Jesus, I think you can see Jesus saying like, I was there, you could have played that to me for an even better opportunity. So I think these are, one of the things I put down here is like, these are the games that like this 11 needed, right? These are the games where it's relatively low stakes against a lower quality opponent at the moment, right? Like if they're going to get minutes, it's in games like these. And I think that they showed well. I think it gets easier as the goals pile on to, kind of apply pressure and not feel, you take more control of the game. You're able to dictate a lot more. They become more desperate to try to make something out of it. Moreover, frankly, I think about Brian, because Brian, less so as the season goes on, but certainly at the beginning of the season, catches a lot of criticism and a lot of heat for, not being ambitious enough, or like, that the club is stagnating and is unwilling to move on from him. But I couldn't be further in the other camp, right? I think that like the players want to play for him. I think that not just for him, but even like the club, like the style of play, I think is very attractive for a lot of players. I think that they want to come here and like buy in, which isn't the case, I would argue, in like a lot of clubs, or like that the style, whatever that is hard to identify. So I think that people want to play for him, whether or not they realize it, but then when they get here, they become part of a system that is attractive and enjoyable. And I think like it motivates people to play their best ball. I think like Brian contributes to that. I would argue, like I die on this hill, that like any criticism of Brian, he was pretty short on what he said to Danny, and in his very next game he gets a hat trick, right? Like, I mean, it's hard to argue with like numbers like that, right? Like, and you could tell that what it meant to him, right? All of those goals that he scores, you can see it in his face. You can see like the team around him, that like it feels like from the outside that he knows that he made a mistake, and that he feels like the seriousness of it, the severity of it, and wanted to, make up for that with results on the field.
I think it's a great point that you bring up about Schmetzer, because I think sometimes we might underestimate stuff like culture, winning culture, and like you're mentioning, like the system. I would say the system and just identity, right? Like those things are when we talk about why this club has a winning culture and that identity and stuff like that does start with the coach, and like things like the development of Paul Rothrock, or even a kid like Snyder Brunell coming in and contributing, scoring goals. There's organizational credit for that type of stuff, but to me it feels like it starts with Schmetz and sort of the foundation he's laid and the identity he's imparted. And that's
and arguably it starts at ownership, right? It's like my fear, frankly, trying to think really long term, is like, what does this club look like in 10 years, right? And I think that we're so used to the standard being not just competing, but like winning trophies, and falling just short of that like it feels like we're never quite there. But I would argue that a lot of clubs, LAFC or any of the New Yorks, or both of the LAs, like because they play heavily into the market or whatever, or sign big name players, that they're able to kind of ride mediocrity more. Whereas like we are so used to competing in everything that we do, that like when we don't get that trophy, which arguably it has been a while for sure, that like we demand more or better. I don't think that we get those trophies by like signing some other coach, for what reason, I guess is what I would ask. Like, what do we hope to get from that? Do we really think that is what pushes us over the edge? At the same time too, I try to like acknowledge my biases, and if we sign bigger players or known names or new coaches, like it's possible that doing those things push us over the edge for sure. But I like when I see Reagan and Baker, when I see players that are actually like local and have made it into getting first team minutes, I wonder, when we talk about like value and what are we getting for the money that we're investing, arguably, I would make the case that like not having to go pay top dollar for players around the world that are not really invested in the club or arguably the city, the identity, the Pacific Northwest or whatever. I think that the players that are here grow up here loving to watch the game that we're playing, and it inspires a lot of, the next generation of kids. And we're seeing that now. Whereas like when it was Ozzy and Montero and Rosales and Eddie Johnson, like those kids didn't exist yet, right? They were largely, they were still watching, and now, they're getting minutes. And I do think there's totally a responsibility to like maintain that. But like when I zoom out, I wonder like, what will the identity of this club be? Will we still have those players, or will we be a club that is mostly dominated by like, market influences and trying to grow with MLS 3.0, whatever that is.
What did you think of this last transfer window ending without any big moves? Because I know a lot of the fan base was upset about that, and I get it. And I've been saying that to me the most important thing is winning and contending for trophies, and playing entertaining soccer, scoring goals. If you're doing all those things, I don't really care about the transfer windows that much, but I will say, and we were talking about this before the game. I really think like part of your job as a soccer club, or part of the fun of being a soccer fan, is transfer stuff. Like that's real. Sure. Like following the rumors, but also, picturing a new player in the jersey, getting excited for them to come to the team, having them come to the team and integrate. Like that is legitimately a fun part of being a fan that I think it is actually like one of your duties to provide. But I don't necessarily want them to inform how they approach every single window. But it has been a while since there's been a move like that. So I mean, where do you fall on that? How did you feel about this window?
If the team is winning and succeeding, right, then I don't really care. I don't care for spending $100 and competing in everything that we're playing in versus $1 million. That being said, I think it's a totally valid question to say like, yeah, but are we? Right. And like, are we resting on our laurels? Is ownership being complacent, right? And not interested in like shelling out for, money, shelling out for names that will like elevate the club. And I think that's a totally valid criticism. I watching this game, I remember having a moment where it's just like, I almost felt like there were 3 or 4 Rusnaks, right? Like there was so many moments where like players were just playing cheeky balls, like no look passes, cutting back to the top of the box, laying it off clever. Like Osaze does that a lot. So I think that at the moment, personally, I'm totally fine with it. But I think that it's totally valid. Questioning, are we doing enough in the market? Are we putting in the work to find players that will continue to move us forward? This market, this transfer window, didn't care. I felt totally fine. I would have loved to have sign another player. And I think like if I were to again like really provide a criticism, I would say like it's a fair point to say like Jordan has been injured for most of the year, right? And like who is going to be our number 9, right? Like it's great that Moose is having the year that he's having, and like he deserves recognition for that, absolutely, probably more than like he has gotten. But like my question is like when Christian gets old enough to retire, or Jordan, if Jordan can't consistently play, these players that are bedrocks, like who is coming up behind them, and how do we plan on like getting them there? And if they're not here now, are we going out to find them? So at the moment, I'm fine because we're doing pretty well overall. I would argue that no team. I think that every player in the league knows that like playing in Seattle is a good thing. Like it is one of those clubs that you want to play for. Like if you have the opportunity to go to Seattle versus other clubs, you want to go there. There's a couple other clubs that maybe right kind of catch your eye, again, the LAs or the New Yorks or the Floridas maybe, but yeah, not making moves in this transfer window did not bother me, frankly. I didn't really lose that much sleep over it.
Yeah, and to me, it comes down to results more than anything. And if you're still getting them, then that is if they're going to argue we got the trophies to back up however we handled it, then that's fine. But you do have to go get the trophies. So
I mean, and even if we didn't get the trophies, which again I think is a fair standard, I think that should be the standard for all clubs, and it's a lot easier to talk about it rather than practice it. Again, we look damn good in the World Cup for the group that we were in. We really, I think, caused a lot of people to kind of give us another look. Who is this team in MLS that is losing 2-0 to PSG at the end of the day? That's pretty crazy. And having, if I remember correctly, I don't want to be wrong about this, produced the highest expected goals in the group, right? We were dangerous throughout. So I think that barring injury, I think it's another fair criticism. Say why is there so much injury? How can we mitigate that? Because it really does bite us. And
it's been pretty ridiculous this year.
Yeah. and Ryan Kent and JP, important players that JP arguably maybe wouldn't start, right? But he would be coming on, right? He would be relieving players, relieving Christian, a lot of those minutes. Totally fair. I think the injury conversation is one worth having. But in terms of, I don't think that gets. My other fear, by the way, is I think that people kind of have a hard time perceiving the idea of these being human beings in a locker room with personalities, and these are coworkers, right? These are people that work together and have to have a relationship with each other, a professional one, whether or not it works well or not, but that the tighter that locker room is, the better that they play. And I also worry about the idea of signing a Wilfred Zaha or a Marco Reus or
Seattle just isn't
right.
There's not that club
spotlight on one person, right? And I think that it messes with the locker room in ways that we may not really kind of be able to perceive so well as working class people. We just expect to do our jobs, and so should they. But there's way more nuance in sports, and I don't think it's that simple. I think it is actually something that makes us a much stronger club than many in the league. So I really would only endorse signing players that want, Raul and Nico wanted to be here. And I remember Garth making a point of that it helps that they're great players, but they really wanted to be here. And, a lot
and
of
who really knew who either of those two guys were before Seattle went and got them. I didn't really know much at all about Ladero before they signed him. I didn't know much about Rui Diaz before they signed him. I looked him up, and then you see, oh, he's the starting number 10 for Boca Juniors. Oh, he's a 2-time Liga MX Golden Boot winner, and you're all right, that's the pedigree. But they're not like Willie Zaha. They're not Sun Heung-min or all these guys that come in like that. So I don't mind being that club, but you also there's two sides of it. You can't 4 straight transfer windows with no movement. I understand why people are tilted about that as well. Poos, I got a couple people now in the queue here behind you, but you got any last takes that you wanted to get about this game?
Everyone has said this, but I do completely agree. I think that Brunel was the brightest of all. It's a small sample size, but not just that he's scoring goals, and he is, but there are multiple times where he has 2 or 3 or 4 guys on him, and he is maintaining the ball or drawing a foul, or I think that he has tremendous upside. I think he looked great tonight. I am a little disappointed somewhat with the outside backs, but again, those are just minutes that they have to get. It comes with seasoning. So I have some reservations about the new guys, but I'm glad they're getting minutes.
All right, Poos, great call, man. Thank you for tapping in. Great first time caller. Sure. Appreciate you. And we'll catch you soon. All right.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Take care. All right. We got Parker up next. Parker, give me that thumbs up. I'll bring you to the stage right now. Parker, what's up, man? Thanks for tapping in. As always, 5-2 over Sporting KC, Moose hat trick, Snyder B goal, Danny Leyva at the 10. Where do you want to start? What'd you think? Oh, I think you're on mute. All right, I'm going to bring you off real quick and then re-add you. Talk again. I can't hear you. Chat, can you hear him? All right. He's tapped out. We're going to move on to, we got Caleb. Caleb's at his drum set. Let's go. Caleb, can you give me that thumbs up? I don't know if yeah, okay. All right. He can hear me. Caleb at the drum set. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up?
Sporting KC.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you.
Can I may I please do an Ari Lillianwall quote? May I please do an Ari Lillianwall quote?
Oh yeah, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, full pull wines and Lobbing Scorchers is the responsibly saying. I say this not facetiously, but I say this to the professional club of professional wrestling enthusiasts that get bammed on. Take that and they're like, take a chair to the face. But respectfully, and we're gonna go to an ad break and then want to go deep with Lobbing Scorchers, but no, we're not gonna go. We're not gonna go in that. But that end quote. I end that imitation quote.
I'll give you
but
that one.
Yes, great game. Thank you. I say that, and it was a game that was respectfully, like, the depth is there. Weibel, again, trust me, I want him out, and I'm going to be for other certain reasons, not as much as the reasons of, most of the crowd. I say that respectfully, but it is the depth that we're doing well. I mean, Georgie was great. Just the cohesion. I mean, you're going to hear, the grand Brian Schmetzer press conference saying that the team is together, and I tell you, that team is together. And Jeremiah, to say to your point that the cohesion and the Craig is a bad guy or something. I don't know, but somebody's going to say something like that. I don't know, but that saying that we have a team in that locker room, and also Jada, to answer your question, that team right there, that is a massive performance by Snyder, by Danny Leva, by Georgie Manungu. And those guys have stepped up to the plate. We've asked them to. We've given them the presence of an opportunity, and they have presented themselves with that opportunity. So again, Jeremiah, to go back to your other referring question, it's there. I can't speak anymore. And then we go to Alex saying, like, okay, we're gonna pass the mic over to Ari. You've got the mic, and then we're gonna go all around to Maz for the follow up. And end quote for that. So again, grand performance. If that makes sense of how I described what with this game. I hope that answers a lot of questions.
That was a good Schmetz. The impression game is pretty on point. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, that's he loves the team, that team in the locker room, that team, those players, that team in the locker room, they're together.
Yes,
that is.
I mean, it is, and it pisses off, and again, it pisses off the rest of the league because there's so many people that try to do what Seattle has done, or try to even ever try to emulate it, but they can't get to the genuine core of what the values, especially of what Adrian, even though many people don't like right now, but I love Adrian. And he's just like, it's the cultivating community that we've had throughout the years of grand service for our great fans, our intelligent fans, and our great media staff, our coaching staff, and most of all the players. But at the same time, the fans are the lifeblood of why we sell these games, why we sell these tickets, and why we are trying to really make sure that we are not going to get everything right. But the philosophy, I think we have grown in the years of our growth, and our continued growth is very much astoundingly renewed in a way that I could never be more proud of, and I'm glad and so grateful to be a part of this whole movement, this moment, and we hope for more things to come, especially with getting Jordan Morris back. Trying to get that done very soon. Then also Albert back, and because we still have that grand debate between the Grand Sticks and Ari. But again, grand time. I do not want to take too much because there's more in the chat, and at the same time, there's more that has to be spoken from not me, but from the grand others. And good luck Tacoma on playing against Portland 2 tonight. We hope we got that win. And yeah.
All right. Well, Caleb, I could listen to the impressions all night. They're fire. But we do have a couple people in the queue behind you. So we're gonna keep it pushing. Thank you for another great call as always, man. That was the impression of me was pretty good. I think the Adrian one was the most on point. That was like, you sound just like him. That's weird. But thanks for the call, man. Appreciate you, and we'll catch you on the next one. All right, we got Jake up next, Tyler after that. Jake, if you can hear me, give me that thumbs up, and I'll bring you to the stage right now. All right, Jake, what is up, man? Thanks for tapping in. 5-2 over Sporting KC. What'd you think of the squad tonight?
Yeah, I mean, we played probably the most rotated lineup I've seen all year. I wasn't keeping track exactly, but throwing out a bunch of young kids on kid night to Sporting Kansas City and still getting a result is great. It's a club that you can do that against, and they actually, showed up. First of all, Kalani putting in that high effort goal to go in was setting the stage right. Moose should have gotten some early, but he ended up getting 3, so that was fine.
Yeah, that one that Georgie laid out there for him, like right after kickoff, that would have been sick if he scored that, but he does end up getting the Hattie. What do you think of Snyder B, Jake? I mean, like, this kid is looking for real.
Dude, that guy looking solid. He's got 2 goals in 2 appearances.
Yeah.
And, obviously these things aren't super comparable, but I love Obed to death. He's got 3,000 minutes and like 3 goals this year. He started off the year talking about how he wanted to score more goals, and for whatever reason, he just hasn't been able to make that happen. And it's really exciting to see somebody in our depth chart that has that capacity, because I know that Christian needs a break. I know that Obed needs a break. And like, to be able to put in somebody like Snyder to close out a match where like they need to rest their legs, like I feel more confident in doing that after seeing, matches like this where it felt like Snyder really controlled a lot of that midfield.
The fact that he's already getting on the score sheet, I don't think we should like overlook how impressive that is. We've seen a lot of these really good homegrown midfielders come up in the last few years, and none of them have done that. I mean, Otencio got a banger against St. Louis, and Obed scored a handful, but like realistically, like goal scoring has not been a big thing that Obed has brought to the table. His rise has been about like his all around game and his attributes as a facilitator, ball progression, how good he is in possession, all that stuff he does at an elite level. But Snyder B's got 2 goals in 2 games. It's crazy. Like the potential seems to be off the charts.
Yeah, and you always got to take that into consideration about what the match was. Like, 7-0 against Cruz Azul that he scored first, right?
Snyder, no, it was against the Galaxy.
Oh, the Galaxy 4-0. That's right. So yeah, 2 like 3-4 goal.
The worst teams in the league. Yeah.
Yeah. So like
they were playing teams like that when Obed Atencio and Danny Leyva were coming up, and
right.
They weren't scoring like that. So
yeah, no, it's awesome to see that it's happening against these clubs, and hopefully, he can start to bite off minutes at the end of kind of more serious matches where we're actually playing a more of a first team roster. And at the same time, that kind of plays into one of my main takeaways from this match, which is that like some of our players that have been getting a lot of high recognition out of this match, it's like they should be doing that, and I'm happy that they are against Sporting Kansas City. But that isn't, to me, really justify maybe displacing some of our first team starters.
It doesn't necessarily need to. I think it's more just like, I don't know, like for me, when I watch a game like this where you rotate that much and you still score 5 goals, I watch a lot of this goddamn league. Not like most clubs can't do that. So that to be able to have that just in your bag is something that you can do. That's good to know.
Yeah, and hopefully, we can have these kids, maybe not, a full 8 or 9 or however many we sub through, like be able to help us out against like mid-table clubs and maybe even, a little bit higher, when we have to sub in for those matches.
Yeah. I would be interested to see how that exact 11 would do against like a more top of the table team. I don't think they would score 5, but I definitely when you think about the guys that were starting tonight, Georgie, Snyder B, RBW, KKR, most of these guys are players who have contributed to one extent or another at different points this season. So it was kind of cool just to see them get like a match to shine on their own, where they're really like kind of carrying the full 90 and winning the game, scoring 5 goals despite a couple of those defensive lapses on the concessions. But I'm never going to poke too many holes in a win where you drop 5 goals. So what else did you see, Jake? Let's see. We hit Snyder B. Danny Leyva. What did you think of the Danny Leyva at the number 10?
I'm kind of a Danny Leyva holdout. Like I think that guy's a little too slow for MLS in a lot of different matches. Especially when he's playing in a defensive role. He really gets behind the ball.
This role is his role. That's why I think this role, not like his starting role every week, but like when he plays, it should be more in that more advanced role. It seems he looked so much better tonight than he like ever has.
Totally. And I feel like I might be crazy for this, but I feel like he did play more of a cam role before we moved him back a line.
Yeah.
And mainly I think that's just because he's been playing behind designated players and he would never kind of overcome them. He's not going to get through Rusnak. And like, I don't know, maybe with his injury, like we might be proven wrong on that. But like if Danny Leyva wanted minutes, he was going to have to do it through CDM. And I felt like he kind of just is too slow. He gives up really bad tackles in really dangerous spots. And when he's playing up a line, he's not punished for his mistakes in the same way. And so I felt like it's a more attuned role
on like facilitating the attack and not having to have that and I think that that suits him much better. Jake, I got a pretty packed queue behind you now, but any last thoughts, takes, observations, agendas you wanted to get out there about this game or Leagues Cup coming up on Wednesday?
Yeah, so having said all that, I do think I want to see Danny Leyva start at 10 against LA Galaxy. And push.
That's a scorcher. That's a hot take.
Push Jesus out to the right. I know we've got a lot of forward injuries and whatnot. Jesus can come in. we've got a lot of different ways that we can move that around if it doesn't match up against LA's speed, which I think again would probably be one of the biggest problems with Danny Leyva starting there. But it would give us a little more freedom on the wings to play and have substitutions if we needed, especially with Osaze being our only striker available for the rest of the tournament because Danny Musovsky bodied the referee.
Yeah, which is obviously highly unfortunate, but starting Danny Leyva at the 10 at LA, I don't know if I would have the courage to do that. So I admire your gumption. Like, I mean, just because big tournament elimination game, semifinal, and it's something that looked amazing against Sporting KC at home, but to bust it out in an elimination game on the road, even against a Galaxy team that you just beat 4-0, that would be I don't think there's any chance at all that Schmetzer would do that. But I like where your head's at. Jake, thank you so much for the call, for tapping in. Appreciate you, man. We'll catch you on the next one.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Take care. All right, we're gonna get Tyler in next. Oh wait, there he is. Tyler was in and then tapped out, but is back in, so we're gonna get him on here. Then we got Parker and Max after that. If anyone else wants to tap in, link is pinned. I'll be here for a little while longer, so hop on, lay down some takes, bask in the wind. Gonna hit one we got couple super chats here I'm going to hit and then bring Tyler on. We got a new YouTube member, the Gurns. Appreciate you. Great way to support the show. Become a YouTube member. Also, if I haven't everyone like the video. Everyone like the video right now. If you're in chat, if you're watching, like the video, get us in that algo. Kenny with the $2. Thank you, man. Georgie created 5 chances, 2 big chances, 36, 39 passing. That's good stuff. It's good stuff. That's what we like to see. And then Zach with the $2. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Sounders might have to play LA and Miami back to back. Yeah, it could happen. It could happen. They might go from playing Harbor Miller and the Galaxy Yang to playing Lionel Messi. That'd be crazy. All right. Going to bring Tyler on right now. Tyler, what's up, man? 5-2 over Sporting KC, Moose hat trick, Snyder B goal, Danny Leyva at the 10. What did you think? Where do you want to start?
Well, I have a question for you first, Ari.
Yeah.
So that penalty gets awarded. Leyva draws the penalty.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Leyva scored in a
We
while.
were talking about this. Yeah.
Yeah. So I missed the first half, I guess. But what was your take there? Leyva.
So this is what I saw from the press box, and I'm not sure this was exactly what happened, but this is what it looked like happened to me. Danny drew the penalty, and you're right, he doesn't have an MLS goal, and he was holding the ball, and we were like, is he going to take it? Is he going to take it? But what it looked like happened to me is he and Moose talked about it, and then he handed Moose the ball, gave him a high five, and was like, all right, you take it. You're on a hat trick. Like, I don't know what he said, but it looked like Danny was like, holding the ball like, guys, can I take it? And then Danny was like, come on, dude. No, like, I'm going to take it. And then he was like, all right, here you go. Take it. High five. Danny ends up taking it, getting the hat trick. But it didn't look like a situation where they were like beefing over it, which does happen sometimes.
Yeah. Battle of the Dannies. I mean, whichever way you go, you're getting a Danny taken out.
It's like, do you give the kid a chance for his first MLS goal, or do you give the guy the hat trick? It's a tough debate.
Leyva's one of the young players that's famously had goals disallowed that he scored. So there is some amount there that I'd like to see him at least get one that counts on the stat sheet. But
I would have liked to see him get one. He had three assists, 1 primary, 2 secondary. It would have been sick if he got the 4th goal contribution. But yeah,
he played well. My real question for you actually was about what do we do with Osaze de Rosario's minutes potentially going forwards, because I feel like we're at an inflection point now where it's pretty clear that he's somebody that can really use his body well to get in good positions, generates those chances, but is really struggling in front of goal. And I feel like, the shooter's thing is like shoot until you make it, right? Like you can't stop shooting because as soon as you give up, you're not a striker anymore, right? That's the conventional wisdom. But it does feel like he's gotten pretty wasteful with chances, and it doesn't show up in a 5-2, right? But in the game against Minnesota, am I misremembering that, or did he have a pretty good chance?
Oh,
in
he had a
Minnesota?
couple in that game. He
Yeah,
had one
he's
in
good.
particular, but he had a couple like pretty decent looks on goal that didn't quite come off. I think you're right. It is kind of an inflection point. But as for like how he hasn't converted these last couple games, I tend to subscribe to the Matt Doyle doctrine of like, if you got to trust a striker who gets in good spots and gets high percentage chances, and eventually they will convert them.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, we were seeing that with Osaze. He has 3 goals in the last few weeks here. So I think my prediction would be that if he keeps getting in these good spots, they'll start to go in like they were in his first few games, because there's 2 lenses to look at it through, right? Like on one hand, yeah, like he's missed a lot of these like really good chances, but he is getting in those spots, those exact spots that you want your number 9 to be getting in. So I think over a larger sample, my prediction would be that if he keeps doing that, they're going to start going in, because like a lot of the battle of being a number 9 is just getting in those spots and putting yourself in position to get those goals. He's very good at that. So I think that's like the first battle you have to win. He seems to have that. If he keeps doing that, I think he's going to start scoring.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, I guess. And I am thinking about him in the lens of like, well, Musovski, right? Like we ran through a lot of minutes last year of Musovski getting into good positions, but not necessarily converting. And so, and Osaze is younger, right? And so we should give him a little bit of slack. I find it unfortunate because I feel like he's a guy that could be on an absolute heater right now at a really good time for the Sounders when Morris's return is a little bit in flux. It seems like, not that it won't happen, but just what the timeline is seems to be moving a little bit of a moving target. And so it'd be great if he was converting at a higher rate. But I've really enjoyed watching his presence in the box. I think that his feet are an ability that I didn't realize that he really actually is pretty good with his feet in the box. And he showed that today with the nice turn that he had to generate the shot. Again, we wish that he would have done a little more with it, but the turn was really nice. And
that was so good. Yeah.
I mean, he's a huge guy too. That's the thing that you really like, him next to Joveljic, you're like, okay, well, that's a dude that's like closer to Jackson Reagan's size than, like Dan Joveljic's size. So it's pretty cool that they have that weapon. But yeah, I'm really intrigued. I just wish he was, for both for the player and for the team, had been converting at a little bit of a higher rate, so we could be, really appreciating what he's bringing to the club right now. But yeah, hopefully it's more of a Musovski situation than an Hebert situation. Let's just say that. Knock on wood somewhere too. Other than that, I'm really curious, what about Snyder Brunel are we seeing? Are we at 10? Is it 10 million now for Brunel too? Are we getting 20 million for Vargas and Brunel in the next transfer?
I mean, look, if he essentially becomes what Obed is, but also with the ability to score a bunch of goals, we might be talking about 20 mil. I don't know. I think, it's still early enough where we don't even need to hype him like that quite yet. But like, it's very exciting to see another homegrown come up and be doing what he's doing and doing what he's the first one that's like started banging in goals right away. Like, I mean, other than Jordan Morris, but I kind of put him in a different category of homegrown than these guys that came up through the academy without having been around the team their entire life because their dad was a team doctor. That's a little different. It's a little different. Snyder B didn't have that background, and he's got 2 goals in 2 games. So I mean, and really, like his career could not be off to a better start.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to
no,
talk
you're good.
over you, but like the runs that he scored on are just really instinctual, beautiful runs into space. That's just impressive. I mean, you're just like, the next 3 years, you can see that guy turning, filling out, turning into something really special. And so hopefully, his progression continues, because I've been super impressed. So yeah, I mean, the midfield is looking like we just could have used a 6. I don't know how we could have gotten one, maybe from a transfer window if there was one that existed.
I don't know if that's a thing. It's apparently not a thing.
I haven't heard anything about it recently, so it's only on every podcast that I listen to that's Sounders related. But that's it. I'll let you get through the queue because I know you say you got people behind you, but appreciate your work as always and you hanging out there in the drags down there, and just really good to see the kids put on a show today. I think they really deserved it from the effort that they put in throughout the season when they've made those spot appearances. We've seen great stuff from KKR. We've seen obviously great stuff from Brunel, limited minutes. Reed Baker Whiting, okay game, I would say, like probably not the top RBW game of all time, but obviously creating really well going forwards. And so a lot to really like about obviously what's here. This was not the Austin 1-0 squeeze it out with Rui subbing on. This was like people putting these young kids putting that team under pressure from literally minute one and playing a really, really good game. And I'm now going on, but I do want to say one last thing. The thing that has always impressed me about the Sounders and the kids that they bring up and play is that when those kids play with the first team, they so clearly understand their responsibilities of their position and their responsibilities for what they're supposed to do within the team and the structure. And somebody earlier was talking about what you lose with Brian Schmetzer potentially not being on the team, not coaching the team. And I think if there's one thing that we really will probably only appreciate after Schmetzer is gone, which is hopefully many years from now still, it will be that his ability to prepare those young kids to come in and put in quality shifts where they play up to their abilities. And even if they are, not maybe physically as well developed as the players because their other players are playing against because their age, or they're not, as quite as game ready, their understanding of what they're supposed to do. I've not seen that. I don't think that outside of the union, you're really seeing academy kids coming in and being ready to play the way that the Sounders have had their kids ready to play. So that's it. I just really impressed and appreciative of the club and the way they've committed to developing these kids.
Absolutely. No, it's a great point, and we saw the benefits of that tonight. Tyler, great call, man. As always, thanks for tapping in, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah, thank you, Yuri.
Yeah, take care. All right, we got Parker, we got Hunch, we got Max. We're gonna try Parker again right now, see if his tech difficulties are resolved. Parker, what's up, man? Can you talk?
You should be able to hear me now.
I got you. I can hear you. All right, hell yeah.
What's up?
How are you feeling? 5-2 over Sporting KC, Club of Professional Wrestling Enthusiasts. Moose hat trick, Snyder B goal, KKR goal, Danny Leva at the 10. Where do you want to start?
Moose hat trick. I think he did really, really, really well. I'm happy for him. He showed up after the red card that was dumb. I'm not mad at him about the red card. I should be. I know I should be. I'm not. But he still showed up. And so, good on him.
Yeah, that's how you atone. That's how the Messiah atones.
Right. You have to move on. You have to. Yeah. He as a player has to move on. We can hold grudges, but he needs to look at the next game. I'm not holding a grudge though, personally. So we have an issue with our roster. And I have a take here. So I'm just trying to figure out how to frame it. The issue that we have is we're not closing the deal on any of these signing windows.
Yep.
And so the question is, do we need another player? I don't know the answer to that, but let me ask this instead. Can we afford our current roster next year if no changes are made?
Well, no, because of the Ryan Kent, Paul Areola situation.
Big no. And then you've got Rothrock, who's up for a contract, who's screaming. You've got Moose, who's now in double digits in MLS play. He's getting paid just over $550 or something like that.
Someone will pay him more to do what he's doing.
Somebody's gonna snag him for sure. So we have this issue of, okay, there's these transfer windows that are coming and going. We're not seeing the deal on them. We're just letting them pass us by. But then even it doesn't really matter, because then can we afford our roster next year? The answer is no. I don't think that we can. In a lot of areas, I think we're kind of up a creek. So then and we have to assume that the club doesn't have any money to spend.
Famously.
I think we have to operate under that perimeter. There's just I don't think they're being stingy. I don't think they're being jerks. I think Adrian loves the club. I really do. I just genuinely don't think they have any money right now.
I just don't know what to make of that because the I guess what they're saying is like we can't spend that much money. We're broke, but it's like, are you like you're broke? Like you own a soccer team and you're broke? What are we talking about?
Well, they just bought Rain, and it's about cash
and
flow.
Long Acres. I get that, but like I just don't think no one in the oligarch class is truly broke. Like that's not. I'm broke. They're not broke.
Yeah, you know what? You have a good point.
like, come on.
It's a question of if they want it bad or not.
A guy like these guys can peel off $8 million off their net worth, buy whatever player they want. Nothing about their life would be any different. Like I don't know.
No, I honestly hadn't thought about it that way because I'm like, okay, cash flow, bunch of debt, maybe it's negative right now, but you're right. Like I can get sweaty and figure out a way to pay my bills. Like they could figure something out too. They have a lot more assets. But the goal isn't to put him on blast right now, right? Love the team, love the ownership, all of that. My solution is we need to sell quicker. We can't afford. We're not going to have another opportunity. It's highly unlikely. At least it won't happen in the next 4 years that we're going to have another showcase at the Club World Cup. That's going to be 4 years later. If we know that this is coming, I think we need to sell players quickly if we're going to sell them. I personally like our roster. I would like to keep it totally together. I don't want to take any risks on some outside talent. I would rather sell a player that we don't want to get rid of. Chat's saying Morris. Wait, but he's old.
It's Obed. Obed is
he doesn't want to go, but it's Obed. It's Obed. It's Rothrock. Rothrock's up. And he after every game, he goes to the other coach and high fives them and shakes their hand. Every game. Apple TV's putting him on
Rothrock,
blast.
you're saying?
Yes.
Ooh.
So every game, it's really good sportsmanship, but come on, he's a networker. He's an athlete. He wants to have his face be in that coach's mind so that if something happens, he even did it at the Club World Cup.
That's a good catch because this is an issue like that he's going to need a raise, and are they going to be able to give him what he thinks he deserves?
I say we sign him and sell him.
That's real.
We sign him, control the contract, sell him. But I like him. I really like him a lot. But we don't have control over him right now. And if he's gonna go. He wants to go. He's networking. And then Obed. And then it's like, well then like, I don't know, the fire that we have with Obed and Rothrock, we can't replace right now. So that sucks. So we're gonna go sign Chicho Arango or something? Like, I don't know. You can't replace those guys.
Obed and Rothrock?
Yeah.
I mean, you can
always... Obed has training from João Paulo. There will never be another Obed. Obed has been under the wing of one of the best sixes in history.
You can replace skill sets, but like when you're talking about the locker room and chemistry and on-field fit, and that's the type of stuff that's a lot harder to replace. It can be done, but what you bring up about Rothrock is very interesting because I mean there's multiple guys on this team right now that are playing like above their salary, like
way above
which is what you want. That's how you know you got a good roster. But there does become like a point where guys are like, wait a minute, I just outplayed this guy who's making like way more than me. What's up with that?
Right.
It's probably how Rothrock feels right now.
100%. But he's not being a diva about it, which I love. More power to him. But we have to be concerned. So all I'm saying is moving forward, we have to strike while the iron's hot. We just got the best showcase any club could hope for. We played against like the pit of doom group stage in Club World Cup and held our own. Let's just get some money and I don't know. It's hard.
It's what happens with the roster for next year. That is going to be something that's gonna have to be reckoned with. And I do think that one thing that I was thinking about this with the Andrew Thomas thing. He doesn't like Andy T, unfortunately.
Right. I got that. Yeah. That was sad.
I was thinking about this with
That was
the
sad.
with the Andrew T thing, like just how effectively they created the succession plan, right? Like you have this stalwart in goal, but he's getting up into his 30s. You bring in the successor years beforehand.
He's been playing an Open Cup. He's been
Yeah.
playing Leagues Cup.
Exactly.
Everything.
And studying under Stefan Fry, MLS legend, the whole time. And then you're
Tommy
already set up, like when Fry retires, whenever that is, you already have a plan that is set and like a very talented high level
And he's
option
bought in.
that and he's bought in. He loves the club, loves the city. Everything is just there for you. That is how good organizations handle it. Contrast that with Atlanta United, for instance, who have been throwing Brad Guzan out there for the last 7-8 years, but don't have a succession plan.
No.
They've had to keep playing him, and they just earlier today gave their homegrown kid like a start. They have no idea who their number one is going to be next year. That's an organization that was not planning that. Whereas Seattle, like that's one thing that I can appreciate about how they handle stuff is there is that long view in mind with some of this stuff. But there's more of these decisions that are coming up, to your point.
And to your point too, the long view with these decisions, what is incredible is it's real. It's not like, you're stuck in a job. Oh, someday, yeah, if you kiss all the right butts, you'll get a promotion. Literally, Schmetzer will play anyone if they're on fire. Anyone.
Yeah.
And so, like, these people know if they put the time in. Anyway, it's an exciting time. I hope we figure out a roster for next year, because what I don't want to see is we just, have a crappy roster over the next 3 years because we didn't figure it out.
I would be surprised if it like deteriorates to that degree. That is one thing. They're broke, but this team does plan pretty well for like the future and succession plans. That is something that they that they can do. So I have faith that they'll be able to do that. But it is like there's a lot of these decisions, and there's a lot of like money and pressure and stuff on these decisions. Parker, I got a couple more people in the queue, but you got any like other takes you want to get out there about?
Go Sounders. Thanks for your
Go Sounders. All right. Thanks for calling in, man. Appreciate you as always. We'll talk on the next one. All right. We got Hunch, and then we got Max. No one else in the queue after that. I'll probably be here. Let's see, what are we at? Hour and a half. I'll hang out for 2 hours, assuming that the lights don't turn off on me or I don't get kicked out of this broadcast room. But all right, Hunch, let's do this. What's up, man? You're on stage. 5-2 over Sporting KC, Moose hat trick, KKR goal, Danny Leva at the 10. What am I missing? Snyder B goal. Where do you want to start?
Well, probably in the thing that would bug Brian the most, and that'd be if they'd given up a third goal. Like, I could only imagine how irritated he would have been. But to be honest, it would have taken the shine off of it. But I'm glad they held firm. And I mean, KC saw something, rinse and repeat. They got 2 out of the same play basically. So fair there. But okay, so starting at the top, I saw the talk about it's kids' night. And I honestly thought it was people referring to the roster on the field. I didn't know it was legitimately.
It kind of was. It kind of ended up being like that.
And I can appreciate that. Like that squad got together and they're like, okay, they're gonna put us out here. We'll show them how it's done. Like they played their butts off. I mean, the opportunity, to say the least, was golden. That said, we've talked about Snyder Brunel. I was staying with people in the crowd. And some of them had even remarked, I didn't know Snyder, started the game. I thought he came on the second half. And I said, no, he's been on the whole time. I saw the lineup. So I'm going to have to rewatch the game because I kind of felt like he was a ghost in the first half. And maybe I just didn't see something. That being said, they were playing away from the end that I usually stand at. So it was a little bit hard. But with all the new faces on the field in positions they aren't normally, like RBW, In addition to that, though, I mean, people are making these assumptions over 2 games. So let's just do some other 2-game comparisons and see where those people are now. Ryan Kent's first 2 games.
God, those were so
Right.
good.
But look at where we're evaluating now. Pedro de la Vega's first 2 games. Where do we put him now? Like, what I'm saying is like, let's just cool our jets a little bit.
Fair.
Not throwing any hate towards Brunel. Man, I hope he just does nothing but excel.
It is early.
Yeah, small sample size.
I think, score in your MLS debut, score in the next game after that in your first start. You're gonna get some hype. You're gonna get some hype for that.
No question. And again, not throwing shade. None. Just, if we evaluate, a lot of people have 2 games.
I'll try to learn my lesson from the Ryan Kent thing. Although I will say I stand by that hype. He looks freaking incredible.
I just think he's still trying too hard. I think he came in initially and played literally free. And didn't try and take the game to anybody, just played the game. And it worked well for him. And then I think he felt the weight of like he had to carry that side and is trying too hard to take people on. But that's a whole another thing. So I just think he needs to recenter, if there's any other way to think about that.
Yeah. Well, the frustrating thing we're getting off on a Ryan Kent tangent here, but the frustrating thing about it is I feel like right before he got injured, he was starting to look like that player again. He got a couple of assists. He was mossing his defenders again. Like he was creating danger. He was just turning back up into that player that we saw in those first 2 games, and then he got injured. So,
and the way I know that this is true and that it's kind of in his own head is because it has to do with decisions, and we'll get off of it on this. It has to do with his decisions when he's choosing to take on literally 2 and 3 defenders at the same time. You can decide to not do that, but instead he does, and he loses the ball. So this is just a matter of perspective and mentality, and saying, maybe he needs some more support over there. Maybe he just doesn't need to feel the weight of trying to do that right now. He can come back to it. But anyway, back to this game. I mean, to be free, Leva and his kicks, holy crap. Like, I like him. And honestly, the next person on free kicks that I like, and people are going to hate this, is Jesus. His corners are good. They're solid.
That's like he's good at free kicks. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw the ref on that clear takedown right in the box. He blew the whistle. He puts his hand up. He slowly brings down his arm and points to the PK like, are you really going to make me call this because you just did that?
That was funny. It was very dramatic. It was
he's like, even his own mind, he's like, really? Are you going to make me do this? But yeah, let's see here. I wrote a couple things down. Oh, yeah. And then Steph. I thought Steph had a pretty decent night other than those 2, but that's really on the center back, not covering the spot. So Steph can
he wasn't at fault on either goal. Didn't have to do all that much aside from that, I didn't think. But made the saves he had to.
He cut off a great cross, like with a fast reaction. But
yeah.
And then he took that header out of the box from like the box to midfield. And it's just like, Andrew T-Pain, I'm still your idol, right? But not something you want somebody coming right back from a concussion to do. I'll just say that. But he looked good. I'm glad for him. And then the second half, like we finally went into a game with going from the first half, second half, halftime with a lead, and we didn't look like the halftime subs looked shaky for those first 3 to 4 minutes.
Well, Alex Roldan went out there for his first ever minutes as a defensive midfielder, immediately got put under pressure and like lost the ball. He had 0 adaptation time. That was crazy.
Yeah. Oh, and that's his 4th position playing this year, by the way.
Yes.
Right back, right wing, center back, and defensive midfielder.
He didn't put a foot wrong after that. I thought he was good.
Yeah, I think it just took him a second. But part of playing that position is your team understanding. Like, when is he going to come close down? When is he going to be the second defender to, aid me on pushing someone outside? Where should I go if he picks up the ball by picking it off somebody? Do I need to be open? Does he want to pass back? Does he want me to, pick? Whatever. So it's chemistry. It really is. And I think Alex has got the chops. It's just how do you fit in, dynamically. But other than after those first 4 minutes, I thought the second half was pretty refreshing. I mean, you called a soda pop type refreshing. Like, it was just delightful. I was glad we didn't give up more than 1 goal, but going up to 5 was fantastic. And does that lead into Wednesday? I don't know, because hard to say who you're going to bring in, right? From tonight to Wednesday night. But yeah. But overall, I mean, you take away the 2 shutouts the last 2 games, and then this is another 5-goal banger.
Yeah.
In like what, 10 games?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And like the last 2 games before this, they were getting trolled. Like, let's be honest, they were getting trolled. They got trolled, which is fine, but most teams just aren't going to play like that.
When you're as good as they were in that form of 8, you've got to develop even the slightest ability to break that down, then to put them in a spot. And I know I didn't get a chance to talk to you guys, I think, after the last one, but in the last game where it was, some people were saying it's a rinse and repeat from what
from Minnesota.
Yeah, sorry. I was thinking Galaxy. I was like, no, we crushed the Galaxy. They actually, because the common phrase is, oh, they put, all 10 behind the ball, all 11 behind the ball. They didn't. They kept 1, if not 2, up at midfield. They did not. At times they did, but they didn't fully sit back and turtle. So there was opportunity there. But I think once they showed that they were willing to do that, we just kind of accepted that they were going to sit behind it, and then we kind of let up, like we were expecting, like high defense, and then it wasn't there, and then we kind of let them just play their style. And I really feel like that game could have changed if we could have scored early. Obviously,
yes, that's what they needed to do. Yeah,
and just put them behind it.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's going to be tricky coming up next 2 games. I guess if we win Wednesday, we go to the final Sunday.
Yep.
And then it's a holiday weekend, so that'll be weird. Either way we play Sunday, because it's either a 3rd place game or champion.
Oh yeah. That's a good. I think you're right about that. Which I don't know. I thought didn't they have a league game scheduled for the 31st?
Yeah, they've moved the RSL game.
That officially got moved. All right, I must have missed it. Okay, sick.
The impending apocalypse has been avoided.
They should have just have him play that game, just both in the same day.
Jesus, I mean, not for nothing, but you talk about a sport that couldn't handle a doubleheader.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, so I mean, it's Labor Day weekend, man. It's going to be rough. I hope we're in it, but by the same token, last minute plans for folks that are, we'll see. I hope it goes well. And I'm not looking ahead. Let's play well Wednesday. And not for nothing, LA now has a full scouting game literally a week before on us for this game coming up.
And they absolutely destroy whoever they played in their last game. Colorado. Yeah. So this is not. How do you feel about this game? Because I just don't see a scenario where it's a blowout. Like, I think it's going to be competitive, and I think LA, like, they're probably going to score a goal or 2. Like, you got to be able to absorb that and still win the game. Like, I have a hard time seeing it devolving into what it did last time. But how are you feeling about it?
So this brings up a question I was going to ask you, and that is, if you have 2 people slotted at the 9, either starting or rotating, I mean, it's obviously Osaze. Is it not Jesus for the other one? And if that's the case, who do you start? And I mean, you could start Jesus and then drop him back and bring Osaze on and like sub off a midfielder later, depending if you need it, if you want to shoot. But then who's taking over? I guess you could do Leyva, which if he's on fire, why not?
I think you start Osaze.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. I think he I know he's missed a few really good chances over the last couple games, but I really do think when it comes to a number 9 like that, like if they're getting in those spots like that if you just keep doing that, just keep spamming that, eventually you will get some goals. And also, like, I'm not saying this is necessarily a reason to do it, but like, I think it would be like a young player like this, like, confidence is important. And if Schmetzer shows that faith in him and sends him out there, he'll be very motivated to reward that. And like, that will like show him that like his coach believes in him. And I think that's important when you're trying to develop a young player.
I mean, I think the belief's there. He already scored on the Galaxy last time. It's just more of, do you want him up against their formulated defense, at full strength, or do you want him coming on against potentially tired legs? Or
Yeah,
the other side of that is like, if you need to recover and close a gap, maybe you're down a goal or two, is he who you want to bring on, or do you want somebody who's more finesse and a distributor who's dropping back? I think it depends on who you have in the wings and who you have in the mid running the engine. So I don't know. I think you're going to see shades of Minnesota and Puebla incorporated, not fully, but incorporated into LA's game.
They shouldn't do that. They're not a team who can do that. What they should do is they should try and get on top of Seattle and just feed Joey Paints and Gabriel Peck and hope they can show some shades of the 24 LA Galaxy, because their defense is so bad. Like, I know they looked good in their last game, but like that team this year, they give up goals and they give up chances for fun. So like that the idea of them trying to play like a Minnesota tactics with their personnel, I just don't think they should. I don't think that would work.
I don't think
they should try it if they want.
I don't think they should commit to like a full game of that. What I'm saying is to come out and stymie and to be chippy and to just frustrate and then wear off the edges of whatever the Seattle tries to bring out, because we're not bringing Musovski. We don't have Morris. Who else is up top? All you have to do is blunt the tip of that weapon and then push on them, and to the point where, meaning if you're LA, push on us to the point we fall over. What you're suggesting, I think, and it's not that it can't work, but we just rested our two center backs effectively, who are some of the best in the league, in preparation for exactly what you're talking about. But that was the LA Galaxy of old, where they just come out and they just punch you in the mouth, and they punch you in the mouth, and they punch you in the mouth, and it's 20 minutes into the game, and they scored 3 goals, and it's like, how are we going to get out of this? They haven't been like that for a while.
True.
Not since Keane and Donovan and whatever. But I don't know if they've got the horses for that against our defense, I should say.
All right, we had Max in the queue, but he just tapped out.
That's typical Max.
Typical Max. We'll see if he taps back in. But
Sure.
he was going to be the last call anyway. So, Hunch, anything else? Okay,
Yeah,
now
sure.
he's back in. We're going to dish one more take, and then
Yeah.
we'll get Max in here to
So
bring us home.
I just want to close out on this, and I thank you guys a lot for doing this, and I think after game makes a big deal. But also, I want to shout out to the community here, the guys who call in, the folks that call in, the people who comment, the community overall. Like, this is your opportunity, to show everybody what it sounds like here in terms of your voices and this community and our team and what it means. And I don't know if it makes it to the front office. I don't know if it makes it to Adrian, even though it sounded like he was on the call a little bit earlier. It was
it was good.
Kudos. Yes. I loved it. But it's just, I think this is important, and I think it's good to grow this, and I think it's good for people to come on here and have a variety of opinions and to just get it out and be a part of what it means to support the Sounders. So credit to you guys again for doing this, and credit to everybody for being here and just being a part of it all.
Absolutely. Well said. I appreciate that, Hunch. And that's what we hope and strive to provide, is a place for the fans to hang out, but also voice your opinions, voice your concerns, your grievances, and also celebrate the good times, bask in the wins. Like, that's what we hope to give you guys. So
yeah,
good to hear that you guys enjoy it, and we're gonna keep doing them. So
once you wrap up with Maxo, I'd asked earlier, and I think a couple of people as he was talking about it, if you want to end the show with your potential real quick lineup for Wednesday, I think that'd be a good one.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. Good. Good
man,
show.
thanks for the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Hunch. Appreciate you as always. We'll catch you next time. All right. Finally, we got Max on here. I don't know if he's got video. We're going to bring him to the stage right now. Max, what's up? Can you hear me? Hello, Max? Paging Max?
Come on.
Talk again. Sounds like he's throwing his phone around. Max, can you hear me? All right, we're gonna take Max off. He might have butt dialed into the show. We're gonna give that a second. Try and bring him on one more time, and then if there's still no Max, we're gonna call it a wrap for this post-game live. I'm gonna go home. Okay, he's here. Max, can you hear me now? Oh, wait. He's all right. Here we go. Here he is. Now he's got video.
Sorry, you caught me right as I was getting home, and I have about a 60-second zone of no cell reception whatsoever.
Okay, you're good. I knew it was something like that, but glad we got you on now. Max Aquino, sounder at heart, photographer extraordinaire. 5-2 over Sporting KC. Moose hat trick. Snyder B goal. KKR goal. Danny Leva at the 10. What'd you think? Where do you want to start?
Oh, geez. Well, first, okay. Well, I'm gonna go right where Hunch left off. Where I'm really glad you do this, because this reminds me of like the old Mariners games when I would go and be listening to like the call-in shows after the game, and we don't really have that for the Sounders. So I'm really glad that you do it.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to kind of create that, but for the Sounders.
Yeah. Then part B is, man, what a game. This was a game where I was mentioning to Jeremiah after the game that where previous youth players and bench players have really fallen short was that when they got their opportunity, they just didn't do anything with it.
Right.
And we're in a case now where everybody is doing something with their opportunity.
Yeah.
So it's, as Brian likes, as Coach Schmetzer says, he's saying, well, it makes my decisions harder. Well, that's a good thing.
Right. That's what you want.
I mean, I was thinking on the way home, like all the academy products that we've had that come up to the Sounders and haven't done anything. You know, AOC, Shannon Hopiau, Ethan Dobler, go back to Darwin Jones, Olex Anderson. Well, Olex got hurt, but you know what I'm saying is we're finally seeing these people come up, these products come up, or young players come up and take advantage of their opportunities.
Yeah.
So,
we should not take for granted that they're able to put out a rotated lineup like that with 8 changes and still score 5 goals and win the game. It's just not something that a lot of clubs in this league can do, because we all know about the salary cap and the roster rules and the limitations. That a byproduct of that is it makes doing what the Sounders did tonight the degree of difficulty on that is very high. You got to have that infrastructure on point. Your youth development needs to be lights out. Like, you got to be on it in a lot of ways to be able to do that. So. But that's like it's not to be taken for granted.
And I don't know how it happened, but in all 3 of Moose's goals, he ran the opposite direction of whatever corner I happened to be in at the time. So, good on him.
Photographer's curse.
I know, but KKR, he great job. He ran right at me, so I got a good photo of him.
Oh, okay.
Then with Snyder, he ran the other way, but hey, I got at least they did that youth. It was kind of cool. They had like 4 of the Defiance players that had come up, like kind of did this to like to Mike the main Sounders photographer, or one of the main photographers.
God, that's so sick. I love that.
I mean, this is one of those games where with that lineup, yeah, it's like, yes, Sporting Kansas City is bad. We know this, but this is also one of those games where we've seen it in the past where all the kids come in and we fall flat and lose 2-1 or 1-0.
Or it's it's like maybe you get the result, but it's like a grinded out, like really unpleasant game that no one has fun watching, and it just feels like no one's ever going to score. That's how these games like this go for most MLS teams. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all I really had tonight. It was a lot of fun. Jesus, I mean, like Reed Baker Whiting I thought he had an excellent game on the outside. I was amazed that one of the Kansas City players had even shorter socks and smaller shin guards than he has.
I don't know does he even wear shin guards?
He does. I think they're pieces of cardboard, but you never know.
That's just it seems like it could be painful to me, but that's RBW is not a big shin guard guy, I guess.
No. I thought the ref was fine tonight. He had some interesting calls in the middle of the game, but I thought overall he did
Could have been worse. Yeah, it was actually I can't think of anything like insanely egregious off the top of my head. So that's how you know you've done a acceptable job, I guess.
And there was definitely a spot where he started tightening up his calls because you could tell that he was starting to lose control of the game a bit in the first half. And I thought he did a very good job of pulling the game back under control. So that was actually something to his credit in my mind. So I didn't have too terribly much tonight. That was all I really had. Then I got kicked out of Lumen for my spot, which is funny because like 3 times now I've hidden there and security hasn't found me, but they did tonight. So
they let me post up in here for some reason, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's because they just don't look over here. But I just come in here after the games and cook and haven't gotten kicked out yet. But knock on wood, it probably could happen at any moment. Let's see. Did we miss anything before we wrap it up tonight? I mean, we hit Danny Leva, Snyder B. Did you have any Snyder B takes?
I think the best I can say is that he didn't stick out in any massive way for me. He didn't seem to be a main focal point in the attack, but at the same time, actually the thing was, I'm sure that if I watch on TV, I'll see something different. I'm just saying from where I was sitting, I had a tough time really picking him out, but that also, he didn't make any big mistakes and he seemed to be a plug and play, right? He seemed to fit right in.
Exactly. Yeah. And then he gets the goal. So it's like, I think that's one of the most exciting things for me is just seeing how he's slotted in, looked as comfortable as he's looked and is getting on the stat sheet. I mean, it's you're going to sell Obed soon in all likelihood. You got the next one apparently just lined right up. That's crazy.
And then I think the last thing I'll say before I sign off is Saze. I will say that it amazes me his ability to hold off MLS defenders.
Yeah.
His near miss on where he missed that much on the outside of the post. That dude is yanking him.
I wanted that goal for him because it was such a good play, man. That's what I'm saying. If he just keeps doing stuff like that, he will get his goals. He will. I mean, predicting that.
I was impressed with his ability to, for the second time this season, sky a shot from about 4 yards out.
It was shades of 2024 Danny Musovsky on that one.
Oh, but hey, as you guys and I think it was Parker that said it earlier. I can't quite remember who said it, but that if he keeps getting in that spot over and over again, that's just going to bode well for the future.
We joke about it, but literally we saw it with Moose from last year to this year. Last year he was snake bit, pretty unlucky, not really getting consistent minutes and was injured. But we saw this year, if you keep putting yourselves in the spots that he is, you will eventually get rewarded with your goals. And now he's about to have a 20-goal season. So go figure.
Yeah. Love it. All right. Hey, thanks for doing it for the show, man. It's a fantastic thing, and I hope you keep up with it.
Appreciate you, Max. Thanks for the call. We'll talk to you on the next one.
Sounds good.
Take care. All right, guys. That's going to do it for me tonight. I'm going to go home. I realized that Nico and I are going to be doing kickoff tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. So we're going to bust out the lineup builder for that and project for you guys how we think they're going to line it up in LA. Thank you all for tuning in to another post-game live. As always, glad to hear the feedback from you guys that you enjoy these and that it's a good place to hang out after these games, get stuff off your chest, bask in the wins, bask in the good times. When there's good times, cope with the L's when there's L's. We're going to keep the content train rolling. Leagues Cup semifinals on Wednesday at LA. So we will certainly be on for the post game for that. Nico and I are going to be at it. Well, he hasn't texted me back, but we're theoretically going to be at 8 a.m. for kickoff tomorrow. I'll be there. I don't know if he's going to be there, but I'll be there. Lobbing Scorchers kickoff 8 a.m. tomorrow. See you guys there. And then we'll be back at it for Leagues Cup semifinals. Have a good night, everybody. Peace.
Some people come to Lumen Field for the tactics, for the soccer, the atmosphere. And some come for Paul Rothrock's hair. Me personally, I come for both, because I have agendas to push. Live soccer isn't just better, it's way more personal. From making friends to becoming the guy in your section that's just constantly yelling about advanced statistics. Get tickets to any Sounders match by visiting lobbingscorchers.com/tickets. You support the pod, our agendas, the vibes, and the chaos.